me, keep a 20 on me, case emergency. Ain't no cap in my rap. Really, I know it's the truck. More profit mean extra. Emerald white off full of pressure. That cereal milk smoking right. But that Obama rant something special. Kansas City, I'm a chief. Shout out to K5 on this one. Country thinking I was hustling. I always had it on me. Booming like OJ the Juice. Till a nigga told on me. From now on, it's relentless. Ain't no love, we ain't friendly. If she want me on him. No the law, she get the business. No the law, still the motto. Empire.
Hello. Welcome in. This is the Birds of the Feather podcast with your boy Q City.
Your boy Taj Bravado.
Darkness, everybody. Darkness. That's for our video viewers. But anyway, this is episode 55. What good is a dime? Right? It's a Hawks podcast. The meaning for the name right there, man, is that like as of right now, our Hawks are sitting squarely in the 10th seed. Right? We've been going through it this season, man. It has been rough. And when I say squarely in the 10th seed, there's as much difference between us and the Nets as there is between us and the Bulls. Right? Like we're 3 games clear on either side. So it's almost assuredly that we're going to be in the play-in at this point, right? I don't think we'll catch the Bulls. The Sixers have dropped like a rock since Embiid left. But we're not catching them. We're 7 games behind them. 7 games behind the Heat at 7. And then 8 games with no tiebreakers versus the Pacers. So, like, that's not happening. I don't think that the Raptors can catch it. I know the Hornets can't catch us. I don't think the Raptors can catch us. The Nets are interesting, being only 3 behind. Like, I do think we could flip-flop with the Bulls and possibly have that home game rather than having to go on the road both times to enter the actual playoff field. But I think the essence of the name is really what stands here. What good is being a 10 seed? Like, it's not like we are, we're an injured star away. You know what I'm saying? Like the Sixers, yeah, they're the 8 seed right now, but like you are kind of worried about anybody they match up with. And to be honest, Embiid should be back before the playoffs to kind of work them into playoff shape. So like, they could go all the way up to 6 and be squarely in, but if they're 7, they're not worried about facing Milwaukee in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Or facing Cleveland in the first round. Like they're not worried about that. You know what I'm saying? But for us, like as a 10 seed, say you do beat the Bulls, you got to face either the Heat or the Sixers to get in, just to get in. Like that's
not what you really want for real. That's really not what you want.
This is right now. Disappointed is an understatement. You know what I'm saying? I expected us to, especially with the start or jump off that we got on the season, I expected us to have some trials and tribulations. I don't think we have the right coach, but at a certain point in time, like it's not on the coach. We're losing really close games with bad execution late down the stretch. We're recording this kind of late. I just finished watching the Jazz game. You know what I'm saying? Lost on a buzzer beater. Well, didn't lose on a buzzer beater. You didn't make the shot. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the few ones I actually watched, and I'm like, man, look at this bullshit.
Yeah, and I get DJ made the smart basketball play there. I'm not one of those force up a hero shot person. Careless
turnover.
Right? Careless turnover. But on that last possession, 27 put the shot up with 2 seconds left on the clock. You had a dribble. You had a dribble. You had a man in the dunker spot on your side of the rim. Like you could have forced some action there. You put a shot up and granted, I ain't going back and look at nothing. So this is just like my recollection off the dome type thing. Because it hit off the right backboard. A Jazz player went and touched it and it bounced before the buzzer went off. Right? So like You had time in that situation,
Right.
right? You had time in that situation, so it's just one of those things. Like you said, careless turnovers, allowing crazy runs. We were at a point in that game where it was like a 3 point game, and we allowed an 8-0 run. Didn't call a
You
timeout.
can't
It's
have that.
nip and tuck. It's in the fourth quarter. You can't have that, bro. And it wasn't like an 8-0 run, like they came down, bang, hit a three, bang, hit another three, bang, hit a two, where it's like 8 points in like game time, a minute and 45 seconds. That didn't happen. It was like an 8-0 run. Oh, like you had been scoring pretty freely. It was an 8-0 run over the course of like 2.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. Call a timeout, bro. After that second three and your offense is stagnant, you call a timeout, bro. And I know I'm nitpicking
Gotcha.
here, but it's just like yeah, yeah,
No,
because
see
that's
the
where we
thing
are with
is,
this
but
team.
here the thing is like you're not wrong for that though, because sometimes it's those nitpicks that get you that extra step.
That's what I'm feeling, man. And like we're not love him to death. I think he's awesome. Don't get me wrong there. This team isn't a tray away from being at minimum a 6 seed, right? Like that's not
I mean, they
happening.
could be.
No, not this team.
Okay.
Not this team. This collection of talent with this coach. No, no,
But the coach, no,
they're
I
not.
do. I don't think Snyder. I don't think Snyder's the right coach for this team because I don't think he knows how to use these pieces correctly.
And hey, I've been saying that since the whole thing went down with AJ last year.
Yeah, because like
Oh, saying
AJ,
AJ
the
just
talented
reminded me.
player, there's no. Yeah,
He is, but that reminded me. AJ being hurt with the freaking Skyhawks reminded me. Prayers up for Sadiq Bey. Uh, Confirmed torn ACL. He is out for the rest of the season. It happened in March, so when I think about it, he's probably not going to be there for the start of the season.
he could
Might
be.
see him around Christmas time.
But then again, it's a little different than it is for like football than it is for basketball. But I mean, the
Yeah,
technology is getting better to where like he could realistically be back on like a minutes restriction for the start of the season. Cause what basketball starts what is like September,
no,
October,
no, no. It
no October,
starts. It starts
October.
around Halloween. Yeah, it starts around
Okay,
Halloween.
October,
Maybe the
November.
week
Yeah, I
before
mean,
Halloween.
so like
Yeah,
he could realistically be back, but I mean, if you don't, there's no need to rush it. But he realistically could be back.
yeah. To be honest with you, I kind of see him. I don't see him coming back before Christmas, just because. Like, I don't even think he's had the surgery yet. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
if he ain't had the surgery yet, then yeah, it's yeah.
Like they confirmed it that it was torn because probably just he tore it in the Pelicans game. And when was that? When was the Pelicans game? That was the 10th. They just confirmed it on Monday, which would have been the 11th. Got to wait for the swelling to go down and whatnot. He's probably not gonna have the surgery for another probably another 3-4 days. You know what I'm saying? Around the 18th or 19th, he'll probably have the surgery. It's about a week out.
No, it don't usually take that long. Um, I tore my ACL. It just depends on how, it was it a complete tear, partial tear, and other what else is damaged before, and then typically they can go in rather quickly to do it. But the swelling don't take all that long to go down. But
They haven't said anything about what's it called? They haven't said anything about anything else being injured. They just said it was a torn ACL. But like we
yeah,
discussed on our
they
last
don't
Hawks
gotta
pod,
they don't
I
gotta
don't
tell
think
you
there's
anything.
yeah, which is true. Like we saw that with Kyle Pitts. But I don't think that any iteration of this team, no matter which direction they go, uh, doesn't see Sadiq Bey as a valuable piece. Right. So like if they tear it down, rip it to the studs, Sadiq's on a very manageable contract. He's a two-way player who can shoot the three ball. So like you keep him on the team. let him rehab, let him get back into playing form. You flip him, he's an asset. You can flip him, right? And if you want to keep this team together and you want to run it back and you want continuity and whatnot, he's a 3-and-D player who can shoot the three, who spaces the floor very well with Trey and DJ. So, either direction they want to go with this team, I think Sadiq definitely fits.
Oh yeah, everyone needs a good 3-and-D player, so I ain't got no pushback on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that leads to the larger discussion. Like I said, I don't think we're a Trey away. Asking the exact same question we asked last time. Has Trey played his last game as an Atlanta Hawk? Because the way this season,
I watched the interview he had with Taylor Rooks, and like he said, basically saying if he has anything to do with it, he's gonna be here. But sometimes
that was really heartening. Yeah, that felt really good because it does seem like if you listen to anything about Trey out there in the media, Trey out there within the community, he's ingratiated himself greatly to Atlanta. He wants to be in Atlanta. He wants to be with Atlanta.
Wants to be here.
Yeah. But kind of like you just pointed out, sometimes things could be out of players' hands. You know what I'm saying? And if the organization decides to go in a different direction, there's nothing you really do there.
Nothing you could do. You just got to just sit there and take it and be like, damn.
And I think this is going to kind of seem out of the way, but I think that decisions made in his draft class and the draft class after are going to be huge indicators as to what his future plans are going to be. Let me explain.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah. So if Luka gets done with Dallas, right, and decides to move anywhere in the league, say he comes to the East to team up with somebody, that's going to cause a ripple effect. And if you're still at a non-contention place, that could kind of force your hand as an organization to blow it up instead of keeping a long-term contract.
That's with my head.
Where you got Luka?
Imagine, you ship Luka off, and you take back a Jaylen Brown and some other stuff to pair him up with Jason Tatum.
Why not?
That would be nasty.
Why not? Like, why not? And he's already compared to Larry Bird. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that, and there's obviously Dallas media who have like a really, really good beat on it. But I think the NBA media as a whole is kind of catching up to the fact that like Luka's extremely ball-centric style.
Sell the team?
He did. But he's shorting the NBA as a whole. That's a whole nother discussion. And to be honest with you,
the NBA period.
Yeah, he's shorting the NBA period. So there's actually been multiple changes in ownership within the NBA over the past like 5 years as they've delved deeper into like social justice stuff, deeper into, like there's the player empowerment movement and all these buzzwords or whatever. What it really talks about is that the brand of the NBA isn't as strong as when he bought into it. He's made massive amounts of money. And so he's getting out of it and he's kind of shortening the NBA to the extent that like these checks aren't going to keep rolling in the same way. The valuation of my team isn't going to be as high in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And if it is, it's not going to be real money. And he's also like divesting a lot of his businesses. So, he's a smart businessman. Obviously, they're running in circles that we ain't running in. But I think it speaks to that conversation that we had that the NBA might not be American owned. You know what I'm saying? In 5 years. And they ain't gonna be looking to ban that on any app, but we're not gonna talk about that. But back to the fact, Luka leaving Dallas, right? Like, Say Luka gets sick of it. Luka leaves Dallas, right? What if Zion forces his way out, right?
I can see that
What
happening.
if
But
Ja
the
gets
thing
in?
is does Zion really got that kind of power though? Because this man barely played. Like, nigga, man, sit your
He
ass
barely played
down.
this season. This season, Zion is balling out of control, bro. Zion going stupid this year, right? So like, and this is a 2 year conversation, right? So like, because next year you're going to either have to sign Trey to an extension or trade him, or not next year. 2 years from now, you're either going to have to sign Trey to an extension or trade him, right? So like, that's when these discussions start to make a little bit more sense. That's when, okay, what if Ja wants to move again? I don't think he'll ever move Memphis, but what if Ja gets in trouble again and Memphis is done with him?
Ja might need to get out of Memphis. For like,
I'm just saying, like, what if that happens, right? I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, bro. What happens when Las Vegas and Seattle join the NBA, and most likely Memphis and one other team become Eastern Conference teams?
I mean, Memphis should be one, but Las Vegas,
Mem-
that's
Probably
gonna
New
be a
Orleans.
hellish. That's gonna be a hellish team. Like
It's
hellish
but think
location.
about it, bro. It's,
I mean, the
it's a
money's
crazy
there,
location.
but see, like even with the NFL, you're bringing 21, 22 year olds. Basketball, you bring in 19, sometimes 18, maybe even 17 year olds, and you making them millionaires, and you just dropping them into Vegas. Given they can't
Well,
do a lot
so
of shit, but with the money they're gonna have, who gonna tell them no?
here's the thing, though. Vegas is already a basketball town. So UNLV has a strong basketball culture there, and most summer leagues and for
Okay,
like a lot of the high school, college programs and stuff happens in Vegas. So
okay,
like
no, I
Vegas is
get what you're saying.
already a basketball town.
No, that see, I get what you're saying with that part, but what I'm talking about is you dropping 16, 17, 18, 19 year olds and dropping millionaires into Vegas.
No, I'm saying they already. All
Okay,
right,
look.
so like we
Okay, hold on, hold
get.
on, hold
Can
on.
I
Okay,
be
okay,
real with
hold
you?
on.
Can I be real with you?
Okay,
Let me
look.
be real with you
Hold
real
on,
quick.
hold on. But you talking about it's a basketball town. Yeah, I get that. But you talking about college students. They're not millionaires. At least when UNLV, there's not really top flight prospects over there. Like the last person I remember that came from UNLV was Anthony Bennett, and he was ass.
Nah, all right. So I can. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna just like I ain't gonna put no names out there. None of that. There is no basketball tournament that goes on in Vegas that doesn't have those players already treated like pros, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Every strip
They
club, every
still
casino, every
that's
like, bro. When I tell you that, like, if you were on an AAU team and you go to Vegas and you have any sort of ranking next to your name from 1 to 100, you're treated like a pro. Like in the sense that like there isn't
okay.
a lot of no's.
Okay,
So if
now let me
there's
elaborate
not
on that.
going to be, and you got to look at the owner of that team. The owner of
I
that
get what you're
team is
saying,
going to be Bron.
but see, but you talking about the tournaments where they're in town for maybe like a week max. You talk about these people living in Vegas. That's tough.
I mean, I get it, but like,
Because look, when you're only there for like a period of time, there's only so much you could do. When you live there and you got damn near what seems like unlimited money, you know the amount of trouble that an undisciplined kid could get into. But he got to have a
I
very
mean,
strong
but
support system.
I could say that about New York and Los Angeles. Hell, Atlanta.
And Atlanta's not like Vegas. Like we're not doing that.
I'm just saying, like the only
Atlanta got
difference is casinos,
yeah.
bro.
Atlanta got it's not the only difference. Like Vegas is a whole different animal.
I just think
Cause
that
like
we should
it's
they should be
very
able to
different.
control themselves. But it goes back to the original point. What if Memphis and Zion organically join the East Conference because Seattle and Las Vegas are at it,
And that happens.
right? So like that's what I'm talking about. Like the whole landscape of the league itself may change. That requires you to move Trey.
I mean, I don't think that requires you to move them.
No, I'm just saying, if at that point in time you're not a contender, at that you'll be 9 years in, you just blow it up. I think that I don't see any significant move we can make to add anybody, especially salary wise, this coming off season. I think we'll have a bunch of mid-tier people and be expecting guys like Big O and Jalen to step into bigger roles next year. I don't know AJ's future with the team. I would love to see him there. And I mean no disrespect to him. You know what I'm saying? He's not a bad player, but like I'm tired of seeing Garrison Matthews, bro. And I don't mean like I don't want to crap on him too much, but like he is an average to below average player, and like consistently he's getting a lot of minutes on his team. Hunter came out like bonkers tonight. He actually been on a little heater, but we done lost 3 games in a row. It's like this team's funky. How it's connected right now. Jalen Johnson is something. Jalen Johnson is something. What exactly he is, I don't know.
He lost me a little money today, but yeah, he is.
Which you took his over on points.
He never. Yeah. I took it over on PRA.
Yeah, I know.
But he was one short. It'd be like that. I mean, hey.
Yeah, every time. But yeah, I mean, Jalen's a little something. You know, I'm not sure Bogey's future, Hunter's future. You go up and down this roster, we can have a good bit of changes, and we're kind of hamstrung. We're not hamstrung salary wise, but unless the cap goes up drastically, which it shouldn't, there's not a lot of space to add top tier talent.
Right. It's going to be interesting.
Like I mentioned,
It's going to be an interesting piece.
So, like I mentioned, 3-game losing streak. We had a perfect week. We beat the Knicks. We beat the Cavs. We beat the Grizzlies. Right, that Grizzlies game, Jaren Jackson Jr. went stupid, but regardless, had 3-0 week. Followed it up with a 0-3 week. We've lost to the Pelicans, the Trailblazers, which was a terrible fucking loss, and we followed it up by losing to the Jazz. Like, this has been a really, really bad week.
Can't have that. Yeah, it's been rough.
And it doesn't get any easier because we face
it's been rough.
Yeah, we face Clippers, Lakers, Suns. Clippers, Lakers, Suns, Hornets, then Celtics. We could lose 6 in a row and be 1-7 in 8 games.
It could get really rough, really fast.
We're already at 37 losses, so like, yeah, March 25th we could be guaranteed a 500 season. And by the end of this month, when Trey would be scheduled to come back, because we got a back-to-back, we got 4 games the week of the 25th. 2 of them against the Celtics, 1 against the Bucks. We could be at 43 losses.
Yeah.
By the end of this month, we could be at 43 losses. What is Trey coming back for? Other than the love of the game. But like, what is he coming back for? What is Big O coming back for? What are we doing?
I mean,
I just
if they want to play, play. But I mean, I get what you're saying. My philosophy is a little different than yours when it comes to that because we talked about that when we was talking about the Falcons playing. But
I mean, yeah, it's the love of the game. It's you're being paid, but like not like on no chattel slavery type shit, but like you are an asset. You know what I'm saying? Like and from a player point of view, you want to be able to play, right? And you want to like I truly believe that NBA players care about basketball. They care about being the best, even on losing teams. They have a competitive spirit, and so like you want to play to play. From a management point of view, I don't like you have to protect your assets, and sometimes you got to protect your assets from themselves. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what, like we're in the middle of March. We don't know what the overall long term plan for this team is today. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Like,
right.
what is ownership looking at for this team? You know what I'm saying? What happens, like, if you were able to pair Sadiq with Bogey, with maybe Hunter's contract, and the salaries matched, and you could get a disgruntled star or somebody trying to load off a super team or something. Like, what if the Clippers are flame out this postseason and they're looking to get rid of Paul George?
Boy,
I don't know. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. But it's like, what if you could make the
you
salaries
sure?
match there? You don't even have that flexibility.
You
You
saying
know
they
what I'm
wouldn't
saying?
like
With
these people feelings change like that? They can have a conversation with the G man. I don't like how he talked to me. This and the third, or you watch the blah blah blah. Trades can happen fairly quickly, so I wouldn't say it wouldn't happen. The chances of it happening now are probably not
I
as
don't know.
likely, but I wouldn't completely rule anything like that out. But that's just the optimistic person in me too. So
I mean, the only player I think of any notoriety that could be on the move even a little bit is Darius Garland in Cincy. I not in Cincy, in
Cleveland,
Cleveland. I think he could be on the move. Zach Levine, Vujacic could be on the move. Surprisingly, I think Miles Bridges could be on the move. I don't think a lot of people are really keeping tabs on that situation. I think Miles Bridges could be on the move. That's pretty much all for the East. For the West, Nuggets ain't going off nobody. Neither the Thunder or Timberwolves. Cat might be on the move actually. Depending on what happens this postseason, I think Cat could be on the move. The Clippers, I think they keep this core together and they just pay James Harden and decimate the bench. That just seems to make the most sense.
I guess.
Pelicans might have pieces. Kings might have pieces come off. Same with the Suns. The Mavs, Luca won't leave until next year at the earliest. Um, Lakers, they're not moving off anybody of note. Neither are the Warriors. Clay might become available, but like Clay ain't even Clay no more. No disrespect, but it is what it is.
No,
The
you ain't
Rockets had a
gotta.
huge,
You ain't even gotta say that. It is what it is.
yeah. The Rockets, the Jazz, the Grizz, Trailblazers, Spurs. Like there's nobody of note really moving that's gonna move the needle for you. That I think is truly just like on the open market move. I think Dame was the last move that really happened for most teams. Honestly, it all falls back to LeBron. No team wanted to be the '08 Cavs. No team wanted to slow play it and be held hostage by a player ever again. So like they structure the contracts in such a way that like the team and the player have culpability and they move off players. They just move off them, 2 years out. And most players end up in the situations that they want to end up in. And that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, people can talk about Durant moving, but like he spent 3 years in Brooklyn. One of them he was hurt, but he spent 3 years in Brooklyn. It's not
It
like he
don't even
got there
feel
in
like he
six
was
months
that.
and was like, I'm ready to go
It
somewhere
don't even
else.
feel like he was there that long.
Yeah, him and Kyrie that's 3 years in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? People were like, "Oh, Kyrie, like requested trade or whatever." He was there for 3 years. Like the first year was without Kevin. The second year was the whole vaccine thing. You know what I'm saying? And then the third year they lost in the second round. Like, or no. Was it the third year they lost in? They got swept in the first round.
Yeah.
Second year was the Bucks year. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they got there and in 6 months was like, oh, I'm ready to go. Like most players, when they like pick a destination, that doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? And right now, I feel like the market has been saturated in such a way. Yeah, I feel like it's been saturated in such a way that like there is no true superstar game changer that's trying to move right now. Not to my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Now, playoffs exposes a lot of things, but like there's nobody I see that's available that's going to make a drastic difference outside of if the Celtics want to trade Jaylen Brown 1 year into his mega contract, right? Which I guess that just wholly depends on how this postseason goes. You know what I'm saying? If the Celtics flame out in the first or second round, they may be like, because they got to pay Tatum the exact same contract. Like, get Jaylen Brown plus 5%. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the contract. There's no real negotiating about it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you've got both those players on your roster. They might look to move Jaylen, possibly. You know what I'm saying? If they're looking to do that, maybe. You could scrunch up some assets. Hunter, maybe DJ, couple picks. We'll see. But there's nobody else that's really sticking out to me as like movable and actually moves the needle for the team.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, the polarity that's in the league right now doesn't remind me exactly of it, but it's very close to like the 17-18 season. Right? So like not 17-18, the 18-19 season. So in the Western Conference, if you remember, in 2018, a lot of the West just kind of laid down. Cause like they recognized we're not beating the Warriors. 17 was like an all-time team, right? But a lot of teams took their shot. A lot of teams tried to play them and just got beat like bad. The only team that really tried to take their shot in the 18 season was Houston. Everybody else kind of just meandered through the season, right? It looked like there was a lot of parity in the league, but there was one team head and shoulders above the rest. That's the Nuggets right now. On the eastern side, Cleveland was balling that year. Toronto always had a good record. The Celtics were good that year. Yeah, like 3 or 4 teams at the time, right? But when it all boiled down to it, the Cavs were coming out. I think like the Celtics and Bucks kind of had that on lock. Is that like it doesn't really matter what happens, one of those two teams are coming out. And I feel like a lot of the other teams recognize that they can't necessarily compete right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what good is being the 10 seed right now?
None.
You get into the playoffs to what? Get rimmed by the Celtics? Get blasted by the Bucks for who? For what? In the name of Ricky Waters? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that do for you? what does that do for you? What does that do for your team? You're not like there's no world in which you are going to face the Bucks for 7 games and win 4 of them. It's not going to happen.
One thing I would like
You know
to
what I'm
see,
saying? And I say that humbly as a Hawks fan.
one thing I would love to see the Hawks do is add a legit big man. Like I like Big O, but like if there was ever a possibility to get like a true big man, do it. Like do what you got to do because I think that could really unlock and maximize Trey.
I mean, I feel like Clint is a rent rolling, rim protecting big
He's
man.
not, man.
He
Clint ain't what I'm talking about, man. He ain't it.
so I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind the Hawks' pace. So like, if you get a real big man, like you're gonna have to slow down.
He ain't gotta be. He could be an athletic one, but just someone that gives you just something like if the perimeter ain't going, somebody that could do something in the damn paint. Like Clint ain't got it in the paint for real. He good on defense, but offense, what does he really give you besides the alley oop and a putback?
Nah, you can't really drop. Yeah, you can't really drop the ball down there and get a bucket out of him with a bevy of post moves. But I mean, how many of those are just sitting on a
That's what
tree?
I'm saying. Like
You know what
that's
I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying. Like
Like,
if there was ever a possibility, we need to get one of them.
yeah, I can't.
Hell, I even like Cat.
Because I'm thinking in the
Cause
league. I don't even think outside of Embiid, there's an actual big man in the East.
Well, in the
Vucevic,
East,
maybe?
no, but like I would take a Vucevic. I would even take like you mentioned Cat earlier. Cat don't really like to be in the thing, but he has the moves down there to get you a bucket down there if you need it. Like
I actually think that the Timberwolves choosing Gobert over Cat is going to be like really, really interesting. But I do think it's a possibility. There's a possibility you don't have to break that team up at all. But there is also a very strong possibility that Cat has to go. It can't be Cat or Gobert because Gobert got a 5-year contract. Well, I still think he got 2 years left on it. It might have been a 5-year extension, which means he got 3 years left on it. He ain't going nowhere. Ant is obviously the future there. Ant is
either now, shit.
Ant is crazy, bro. Yeah, Ant is crazy.
What Michael
bro.
Irvin said, he said that now.
Speaking of which, speaking of which, have you seen the AE ones?
His shoes, they go back to his rec league team when he played football down here in Atlanta. With the initial colorway.
Yeah, bro. I was like, that's a nice shoe, bro. And I'm not even a huge like I'm Nike to the core. You know what I'm saying? So like seeing a different shoe, like I'm not gonna lie, I ain't even got Trey shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a nice shoe. Him and James Harden, they might get me to buy a little Adidas real quick.
I like the shoes, but I still ain't buying them.
You know who got a real nice colorway? I just got the KDs with the purple and green
I
colorway.
ain't bought no KDs,
Bro.
in at least 10 years.
Hey, bro. The high tops were really good for what was those? The 13? Really? Or no, 6s. Really good for the ankle support. I forget, you don't be hooping like that no more. You done got old.
I was never a hooper. I'm too damn aggressive, bro. I'm a football player. I ain't got that finesse.
Hey, look, man. Nah, bro. I'll be out there hooping, bro. I got my Steph's on right now, but these Steph's done been through it. You understand me? They barely basketball shoes at this point. Like they barely basketball shoes at this point.
Yeah, nah, I ain't no hooper for real.
And you know the worst is when you get like a really light player's shoes. Like that's why I like LeBron and even KD because he's tall, but LeBron's big, so like his shoe looks okay on a big guy. You get like Steph's shoe on like me, because like I'm fat, but them bitches start leaning to the side before you walk to the court, bro. Be like, I can't live like this, man. I can't live like this. But regardless, we getting off track. Damn, where was I? We were talking about big men. Yeah, Cat. Yeah, if Cat did become available, I think he might fit with the team. You know what I'm saying? A little bit, but
in more ways than one.
How do you acquire him? What do you have to give up to get him? Yeah, what do you have to give up to get him? You know what I'm saying? Carl.
Hey, Carl, if you ever get traded here, stay your ass out of Midtown.
Oh
If you know,
man,
you know.
he was having a pretty good year before he had that meniscus tear. So he's going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. They got everything but this man contract over here. Come on, man. I don't care about none of this. We doing this live, people. But don't worry for my video people. I'm not going to cut it out. So y'all got to deal with it too. Does Spot Track only go for NFL teams?
His
Nah, it
contract
goes for
in
NBA. I was about to say.
2022, he signed a 4-year, 224 Supermax. So he got what, 2 years left?
Was the Supermax an extension or
Oh
was
yeah,
it
matter
a
of fact, no, yeah, it kicks in 2024.
yeah.
So he got 4 years from now, and it's going to be an average of 55.6 with a final year player option.
And they don't have to pay. They don't got to pay Ant for a little bit. Like they got to pay him, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't show up on the cap yet. So really, yeah, he's got his extension money. All right, going ahead, splicing that together real quick. But mainly, the whole point of it was just like having a solidified big man would go a long way for the team. But I just don't see it possible at this point in time. I think that honestly, it's just like skill issue. Like we just got to get better at this point in time because like there's not going to be there's not that superstar coming to save you from any facet that I see with this team.
Basically, it's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
So as of right now, I see us hanging around that 10 seed. Yeah, I don't see us catching the Bulls. I don't see us catching the Bulls, but I also don't see the Nets catching us. So this looks like another play-in season.
We gotta get out of limbo.
We got to. You got to make a move to do so. Did they trade DJ? And if so, for who? I don't know. There's nobody I really see that's going to make a substantial difference for the team. I don't know the direction they're going to take right now, but yeah, this ain't it. I actually kind of want us to not make the playoffs just to be in the lottery, just to have a chance at something. I do have one last thing, little city talk topic before we dip out. Want to tell everybody we are on all platforms: Twitter, TikTok, for as long as it's gonna be here, YouTube, what's it called, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, all that, bro. We on all that. We have both have our personal ones, but always in the bio is BOAF Media on all those sites, right? So I always invite people to like give us topics, especially involving like our players or our teams, and we'll discuss it on the pod. You know what I'm saying? We'll have that moment. That's our way of fan engagement. Definitely want to get to the point to where maybe we're reading them here on like during the show, so then y'all can see like we absolutely care about what you have to say, and like that drives our topic. But this one was all cooked up by me. The Hawks have 2 first-round picks, right? And I don't believe in like false idols or anything. So like when I say basketball gods, I'm really just talking about like things lining up in a good way. LeBron was robbed of playing with DeJuan Wagner early in his career, right? Like Wagner, he was a one and done. Calipari like kicked him out, basically told him to go to the league. Um, he was either one and done or two and done. Went to the league, lit it up for the Cavs. LeBron came. They played 1 year together. Before DeJuan had like some really serious health issues. Had to retire, right? Sad. LeBron, became LeBron, Cavs, all that, right? But those two together, he's not as sad as a story as Derrick Rose, but like he was really turning into a good player. Averaged 20 during the early 2000s when the league was real hard. You know what I'm saying? I think the basketball guys are going to try to correct that. And I think they're going to use our Hawks to do so. LeBron James Jr. is in this draft. Pretty sure he's going to come out. DJ Wagner is in this draft as well. And I think both of them are going to end up playing on the Hawks. And it feels right. It feels good in your soul that this is going to happen, right? So DJ stock has dropped tremendously since he left high school, but he's still viewed as an NBA prospect, while Bronny's has skyrocketed. And if you are one of those people who's like, oh, he's averaging 5 points, shut up. You obviously have not watched USC this year, because if you watch him, your eyes gravitate to him as a player. If you didn't look at the name on his jersey at all and you just watched him play, you would say a couple times a game, like, dang, who's that? So it's not just about like the averaging 5 points. He's playing with Isaiah Collier, who is presumably going to be a top 5 pick. He's playing with Dennis Rodman's son. That team was like a collection, a hodgepodge of talent, and it just didn't like come through all the way. If everybody came back on that USC team, it would be amazing next year. But I think they're going to be devoid of talent, because I think like a good bit of them are going to the league. So I think that LeBron James Jr. and DJ Wagner end up on the Hawks. I think it'd be interesting.
It'd be interesting. I don't know how high he would go, because I ain't really seen any mock drafts give him no real love. So.
Oh, LeBron James Jr. is going to be a lottery pick.
We'll see.
He's gonna be a lottery pick. Like that's if he came out today, and I'm not saying like he's going to be the number 1 overall pick, but from picks 1 to 15, yeah, top 14, like he's going to be one of those picks.
Let's see.
I don't think there's a player, even including international, because you've also got to realize that like LeBron said he wanted to play with his son. If that's still the case, would you use a top 14 pick on LeBron James? Today's LeBron James.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, that's how you got to view it. Would I use the number 1 overall pick? Nah. But if I'm picked like 11 through 14, 11 through 17, yeah. Yeah. Like, without question nor hesitation. Because like most of those picks don't pan out anyway. Like who was it? Kawhi was like 14, Giannis was like 15. But usually between like I think Devin Booker was 13, Kobe was 13. Usually it's that top 5, bro. And then it's throwing darts at a board after that.
Grasping at straws.
Yeah. So like if I can take one of those grasping at straws picks and secure LeBron James in year 22, yeah, absolutely. I'm talking about he's gonna stay with the Lakers. Like, yeah, man, he get traded anytime he wants to. So that was just my little piece, man. I've been a fan of DJ Wagner. I think that his skill set translates pretty well. If he chooses to come out this year, I do think there's late first, early second round pick. A little bit of the shine has come off. I think Bronny's stock has risen a lot, and not just for media coverage. I think if you watch USC, he looks like an NBA player, and I think that it's something that I said about not Cam Reddish. He went to New York, played on Duke.
RJ Barrett.
Quentin. RJ Barrett. That's what I said about RJ Barrett when he was playing in college. He looked like an NBA player, right? So like Joel didn't necessarily look like an NBA player. I would say Zion just looked big, but he didn't necessarily look like an NBA player. Like RJ Barrett looked like an NBA player while he was in college. You know what I'm saying? If like you look at Bronny, he looks like an NBA player in college. Isaiah Collier, much more skilled. He doesn't necessarily look at Scoot Henderson when he was playing with G League, when he was playing with Team Ignite. He looked like an NBA player. So like, I definitely think they've got some shot.
I done seen a few mock drafts and Bronny ain't on none of them.
I get that. That's not the real league. You know what I'm saying? Like there's.
I mean, I get it, but I don't get the rising stock, and nobody from any media outlet is saying that. Like I don't get that part.
You gotta understand. There's a lot of hate attached to it. It's a lot of hate attached to it, and he hadn't officially declared that he's not coming back to school.
No one has. Well, most people ain't.
There's presumptuous. There's presumption. There's presumptuous people, right?
But the thing is these people don't care whether you declare or not. They're gonna put their mock drafts out for content anyway. He ain't on none of them. That's all I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure. Where is it at? I don't think he's staying at USC at all. See, they got him going right now, late first. I don't think that's real. I wholly believe he's going to be a lottery pick. That's not just off name or anything else. Now, if he decides to go back to school,
I like him,
which I personally think wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because it's not like you're hurting for money. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you earn for money. I don't think going back to school would be the worst thing in the world. But if he does choose to come out, I don't think he makes it past 15, 16. I don't see it. But hey, I could be completely wrong. Players fuck up too. So this is big your boy Q City.
Your boy Todd Bravado.
And we out.
Peace.
Like a chopper, licking like I hit the lotto. I want a hottie like mulatto. I'm on here and she on Moscato. I'm in them good till tomorrow. I'm a robber for the Neros. Your little laws, I'ma put you on payroll. You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party, yeah. Pop a Corona, she moving the body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me, case emergency. I wake up early every morning. Thank the Lord and get the bag. Hustle hard, get the cash. Stack first, then I'm showing my ass. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me, case emergency.
My babies, that's who I grind for. That's who I do it for. Like the Navy, that's who I'm toting that iron for. Keep one in the head like a thought, nigga. Yeah, I fuck with Ty, he a boss, nigga. Foot on their neck, I exhaust, nigga. Niggas cross me, so I cross, nigga. Them stripper was lit last night. 500, what it cost, nigga. Shit was really legit last night. Had them hoes at the house, nigga. Instagram, Snapchat, Triller. What they say about Jay, he a go-getter. Used to have them fat sacks in the grove, nigga. Late nights, early morning, my dough, nigga.
You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party in here. Papa Corona, she moving the body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20